Hare Krishna everyone, we are continuing to read the teachings of Lord Kapila by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 3, How to Understand the Lord's Activities. Continuing. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu sakaline hamahata yogo nashtah parantapa. Quote, this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in due course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 4.2. Formerly the kings, rajas, were great saintly persons. They were not ordinary people engaged in drinking and dancing. They were all rishis. Rishis means sages, up to the time of Maharaja Parikshit. They were trained in such a way that they were not ordinary men, but were called Nara Deva. Nara Deva refers to Bhagavan in the form of a human being. The king was worshipped because he was a Rajarshi, both a king and a sage. Shri Krishna says that if the king knows the purpose of life, he can rule well. If he does not, he thinks that eating, sleeping, sex and defense are all in all. In that case, his subjects live like animals. Today, no one knows the subject, the object of human life. Therefore, although the foolish people of this age are trying to be happy, their hopes will never be fulfilled. Na te viduh svartha gatim hi vishnum durashaya. People are trying to be happy in this material world by accepting material objects, but their plans will never be fulfilled. Therefore, in world history, we see that there have been many leaders who have died working hard. They could not adjust things properly despite all their hard efforts. There were Napoleon, Hitler, Gandhi, Nehru, and many others, but they could not ultimately prevail. This is Durashaya. The ultimate goal of life is to understand Vishnu, yet people are going on blindly trying to satisfy their senses. If one blind man tries to lead another, what is the result? If both the leaders and followers are blind, they will all fall in a ditch, for they are all bound by their nature. Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, are the beginning of bhakti, devotional service. Therefore it is said, Tani me shradadhanasya kirtanya jnanu kirtaya. The word anukirtaya means to follow the parampara system. First of all, we must receive the information from authorities. Then we can speak the truth. One first has to learn how to describe the absolute truth, Bhagavan, his actions, his mercy, and his compassion upon all living beings. The Supreme Lord is more anxious to give us education and enlightenment than we are to receive them. He gives us His literature, His devotees, and the parampara system. But it is up to us to take advantage of these. The Krishna consciousness movement is intended to give society the proper understanding of the absolute truth. We are not presenting a manufactured bogus philosophy. Why should we unnecessarily waste our time concocting some philosophy? There is so much to be learned that has already been given by the Supreme Authority. All we have to do is take this Vedic literature, try to learn it, and distribute it. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Bharata bhumite haila manushya janma yara janma sarthaka kari kara para upakara. It is the duty of everyone, especially one born in the land of Bharatvarsha, India, to make his life successful by taking advantage of this Vedic literature. The quote is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 9.41. Unfortunately, we are simply trying to learn technology, and that is our misfortune. Real education means solving all life's problems. Transcendental education means learning how to gain relief from the entanglement of material life. This is made possible by learning about the Lord's transcendental activities. Chapter 4. Approaching a bona fide guru. Text 4. Sutta uvacha Dvaipayana sakhas tvaivam Maitreyo bhagavam statha Prahidam viduram brita Anvikshikyam prachodita. Translation. Shri Sutta Goswami said, the most powerful sage Maitreya was a friend of Vyasadevas. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows. Purport. Questions and answers are very satisfactorily dealt with when the inquirer is bona fide and the speaker is also authorized. Here, Maitreya is considered a powerful sage, and therefore he is also described as Bhagavan. This word can be used not only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but for anyone who is almost as powerful as the Supreme Lord. Maitreya is addressed as Bhagavan because he was spiritually far advanced. He was a personal friend of Dvaipayana Vyasadeva, a literary incarnation of the Lord. Maitreya was very pleased with the inquiries of Vidura, because they were inquiries of a bona fide advanced devotee. Thus, Maitreya was encouraged to answer. When there are discourses on transcendental topics between devotees of equal mentality, the questions and answers are very fruitful and encouraging. This is the Vedic process for receiving knowledge. One must approach the proper person, the guru, and submissively listen to him expound transcendental knowledge, as Sri Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Quote, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Unquote. Transcendental knowledge is not very difficult, but the process must be known. Sometimes a dictating machine or a typewriter may not work, but if we go to a technician who knows the machine, he can immediately repair it. The process must be known. If one goes to a ditch digger to repair a dictating machine, he cannot help. He may know how to dig ditches, but not repair a machine. Therefore, the Shastras enjoin that if one wants transcendental knowledge, one must approach the proper person. The word tadvigyana refers to transcendental knowledge, not material knowledge. A medical practitioner may have material knowledge of the body, but he has no knowledge of the spirit soul within. He simply studies the mechanical arrangement of the body, which is a machine, yantra, made by nature. The body is actually stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.61 to be a machine. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddasherjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. Quote, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is dictating, directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So the Lord is directing. Unquote. For those who are attached to this bodily machine, the yoga system is recommended. One who is overly attached to the bodily conception is taught to concentrate the mind by some physical gymnastics. Thus, in Hatha Yoga one undergoes various physical disciplines, but the real purpose is to understand Vishnu, the Supreme. The various yoga systems are given for the machine of the body, but the process of bhakti is transcendental to mechanical arrangements. It is therefore called tad vijnana, transcendental to material understanding. If one actually wants to understand spiritual life and spiritual knowledge, one has to approach a guru. The word guru means heavy with knowledge. And what is that knowledge? Tadvigyana. That heaviness is Brahmanishta, attachment to Brahman and to Parabrahman, Bhagavan. That is the Guru's qualification. Brahmani upashamashrayam. According to Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.12, Tadvigyanartham sagurum evabhigached. Quote, in order to understand that transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Unquote. Similarly, as stated in Srimad-Bhagavatam 11.3.21, Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasur shreya uttamam. Quote, any person who seriously desires to achieve real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. Unquote. So initiation is important. Jai. The Upanishads inform us that the Guru is one who has received knowledge by hearing the Vedas. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. The Vedas are called Shruti, and the bona fide Guru is in the line of hearing from the disciplic succession. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam parampara praptam. A bona fide Guru does not impart some self-styled, concocted knowledge. His knowledge is standard and received from the parampara system. He is also firmly fixed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahmanishtham. These are his two qualifications. He must have heard the Vedic knowledge through the disciplic succession, and he must be established in service to the Supreme Lord. He does not have to be a very learned scholar, but he must have heard from the bona fide proper authority. God gives us the ears to hear, and simply by hearing we may become great preachers. We don't need PhD or academic examinations. One may even remain in his position. No changes are necessary. Yeah. We're going to continue reading tomorrow about what does it mean, no changes are necessary. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.